Happy Thursday here. We're going to get started with announcements as usual before we get into the workout. Big announcement here. We want to start letting you guys know that we're working towards a virtual pod. What does that mean? We're working on being able to provide you some information sessions, some clinics, and the one that everyone's getting excited about is these virtual classes. Okay? So trying to bridge the gap between that social distancing. Hopefully you still are keeping some social distancing. You're not getting too cooped up at home, but we're trying to, again, bridge that gap. So we're going to be releasing the virtual pod. There's going to be a lot more information coming up early next week. Something that we're working on it currently, so we still got lots to address and sort through. So stay tuned for more information. We'll be releasing a blog and more next week, guys. So look forward to that one. I'm going to pass over to Chris here for the workouts.
All right, guys. So today's workout, we have a couplet here. To me, these are one of my most dreaded types of workouts because they are usually the toughest. If you think of something like a Fran style workout, you only have 2 movements and you're burning through them pretty quickly. I find those workouts to be, after I'm done, I tend to lie on the floor a little bit longer than I normally would for other types of workouts. So we're doing 5 rounds for time of 9 handstand push-ups and 12 alternating dumbbell squat cleans. Basically, for the dumbbell squat cleans here, guys, we're looking unbroken. So you should just keep alternating side to side with your arm with that dumbbell, and you should just keep moving nice and quick. You're definitely going to feel that burn in the legs as you're going through it, and that's the point of that movement there. The handstand push-ups, if anything, might be your break today. So instead of taking these big long breaks between movements, you might have to break up those handstand push-ups where you do like 5 and 4 or something like that. Take a few breaths in between before you transition into the dumbbell squat cleans. You're looking for under 10 minutes on this workout, and it's supposed to be nice and hard and fast to get you going for it today. I'll pass it over to Eddie for the afterburner.
Okay, so afterburner, 3-minute stretch. That's a 3 whole minutes per side. It is on the longer side, but you guys had squats yesterday or lunges, and we got a little bit more squats. So those quads, if they've overworked, now's the time to stretch through it. Okay? Chris mentioned it's about a 10-minute workout, so you have the time to do the stretches, guys. Afterwards, maybe you're looking to do more. Remember, Yash train programming, pick one section to add to it, but you're finishing off with the cut stretch, emphasizing the quad to loosen that tissue up from yesterday and from today, guys. But there's going to be more to that when we get to that in the segment. Okay, so have fun with the warm-up and the workout.
Okay, welcome to the warm-up, everybody. So we're starting off today with 3 rounds of 10 alternating deadbug leg and arm raises. So Yash is going to start off on his back here in the deadbug position. So his legs are straight, pointing up in the air, arms pointing up in the air. He's trying to push that low back into the floor. So he's trying to get that arch in the low back nice and flat and push down into the ground. From here, he's going to alternate as his one arm goes down towards the ground, the opposite leg goes down towards the ground, and he comes back in. Nice and slow and controlled. You're going to go from side to side here, guys. Don't go all the way down with that leg, as if you do that, your rib cage might start opening up, and then that low back is coming off of the ground, which is what we don't want. So prioritize that, pushing that low back into the ground, feeling those abs. Once you're done 10 of those, you're going to go for 5 and 5 anti-rotational presses. We're going to demonstrate that first using a band. So what Yash is going to do is hold on to the band with his left arm, and he's going to walk away from that post. Now what that band is trying to get him to do is rotate in towards the post. So he needs to use his core to pull away from that post to keep himself set. Then from there, he's going to get into a standard press position, and he's going to go for a set of 5 strict presses, nice and slow. It's just a warm up here. We want to feel the positions, move with intent. If you guys don't have a band for today, we're going to do, it's a little bit of a different stimulus, but we're actually just going to balance on one leg. So we're doing contralateral work here. We're using our core to try to stabilize, so we're not wobbling as much. A little bit of a different stimulus, still very, very good, getting that core fired. After we're done that, guys, we're gonna go for a set of 10 squats, body weight squats here. I always say in a warm-up, I call them tester squats. So he's just kind of coming down to the bottom, seeing what that feels like. He might wobble around a little bit, push the hips left to right, standing back up, keeping that back and chest tall. Just going for perfect squats, seeing how it feels. Notice he's nice and slow on the way down. As you get more loose as the rounds go on, you can start putting the squats a little bit more quickly together as you loosen up. That's part A of the warm-up. We're gonna take you to part B next. Okay, so for the second part of the warm-up, we're doing 3 rounds of 2 holds. First one is a handstand hold, second one is a hollow rock. So for the handstand hold, you guys can do a wall climb to walk up into the handstand. So Yash is gonna demonstrate that now. Walking the feet up. Again, you don't have to go all the way up to the wall if you're not comfortable with that, guys. But the whole point here is he's stacking his body here. So he's getting the shoulders in line with the hips and heels, core nice and tight for 15 seconds, and then he can come on back down. Again, if you're not comfortable going all the way up the wall, you can just go up just a partial way up the wall. The other way you can load up into the handstand is by kicking your feet up into the wall. If you haven't tried this before, today might not be the day. You can just stick to the wall climb, but he's keeping that rib cage down, trying to lock out those shoulders there. Final option, guys, if you don't want to use a wall at all, we can go for a dive bomber hold. Again, the whole point here is to just stack that shoulder in line, head slightly through that window. You can see Yash is on his tippy toes, back feet are wide, hands are narrower as they would be in a push-up, and we're just gonna hold that for the 15 seconds. Once you're done that, you're gonna go for 15 hollow rocks. So on our backs, on the floor, first thing we're gonna do is straighten out the legs, lie on our backs, and we're just gonna think about pulling the shoulder blades off of the ground, bring the heels off of the ground. To make it a little easier, you might want to get the heels up a little higher. That might help you a little bit. But the whole point here is to keep that rib cage down and core engaged. From there, we're just going to start rocking. So we're just going to start rolling from front to back. As he's rocking front to back, he's trying not to let that rib cage out at all. So he's keeping that low back rounded. If you feel very comfortable with these, you can start bringing the arms a little bit higher, eventually all the way overhead, and we're just working on that steady flowing rock. Enjoy the warm-up, guys. We'll see you in a second with the workout.
Okay, let's get ready for this workout. Remember, it's a hot and spicy one. 10 minutes or less is the goal for 5 rounds. First movement, handstand push-up. So progressions. Depending on your object that you have at home, maybe it's a smaller object. You're gonna do 9 presses on both sides. So on that press, make sure you're feeling that lat. So as you press up, don't just press, use the bicep and delt into your delt. On the way down, re-engage that to keep your shoulder in a good position. So it would be 9 on both sides. If your object is not a small object, maybe you have a bigger object, feel free to do 9 total of presses with both hands on your object, whatever that object may be. Right now we're showing you guys with a 30-pound med ball. Clearly looks light because it's Yash after all. Okay? So if you can do the 9 with a bigger object or smaller object, those are your options. Your next progression would be your dive bombers. So dive bombers, if you want, bring your feet wider than your shoulders, as wide as you need to go. Hands about shoulder width apart. You are going to start by almost rolling into your toes to bring your head forward in front of your hands, then trying to touch the ground, keeping those elbows tucked in, pressing up and back. Okay, so again, leaning forward, rolling onto your toes, dropping down, then pressing up and back and towards the heels. And that's what your next progression. Your third progression is up against that wall, getting into that handstand push-up. You can change it by reducing your range of motion by adding some objects underneath, 2-3 pillows, or reducing the range of motion by having less objects for your handstand push-up. Whatever progression you're picking, remember, 10 minutes or less is the goal. So for your handstand push-up, you should not burn out. If you break it up, you're breaking it up once, no more than that. Your next movement though, once you've done the 9 handstand push-up, is alternating dumbbell cleans. From the floor is the goal. If you gotta go from the hang, that's fine, guys, but you wanna emphasize first is on your hip drive. So you're gonna pick up that kettlebell. When it gets about halfway, really drive the hips. We get Yash turning about 90 degrees. He's gonna do that again, where he's gonna emphasize those hips. He's gonna lift it, drive, okay? Make sure you don't cheat yourself by not doing that full range of motion, which you'll do now. Notice how you do not open the hips. Avoid that. Jump out of those shoes, okay? If you're jumping out of the shoes, you got a couple options here. You can catch it in the top position like a muscle clean. Nope, that's the power position, okay? So the top position like a muscle clean. So back down, back up. That would be your muscle catch. Now going back to your power position where you're catching a quarter squat. Make sure you emphasize on the hip drive, okay? If you feel comfortable with that, then you're working towards going to the full squat. So you'll catch in a full squat. If you're not comfortable with that, common mistake is you're catching with your knees going forward versus your hips. So let's do a bad one here, where you catch it with hips. Notice his knees are moving forward more and his weight's off the toes. That's no good. Some of you guys move your knees even further, which prevents you from feeling comfortable and getting in your squat. So watch your knee position, drop your hips back on that power clean, so you can alternate and feel comfortable. When you get Yash here, do 3 more, alternating so you can see his movement and his pace in the workout. Good, notice the weights on the heels. Notice how he drives his hips. Good, last thing, notice he never drops his chest on his catch, guys. Have fun with this workout, 5 rounds, under 10 minutes.
Okay, welcome everybody. Hope that workout was good. Hopefully you picked yourself up off the floor by now. So today's afterburn, we're going for a couch stretch. One of my favorite stretches, really good for targeting the hip flexor, also feeling it into the quad sometimes as well. I'm gonna show you guys just 3 progressions for today on the couch stretch. There's different ways you can do this one. I'm gonna show you the 3 that I like to go with because you'll know it's very obvious if you're progressing, if you're getting a little bit more mobility in those hips. So the first progression is you're just gonna start off with your knee butted up against the wall and the floor. From here, your other leg is on its knee. You can bring it out to the side more if you want, forward, play around a bit. More importantly, I'm thinking of pushing my hip down towards that floor, keeping my rib cage in. So if I'm overarching my back here, I'm gonna miss completely the point of feeling that stretch. It's not gonna really work. So I'm gonna get that rib cage down, squeeze my butt on that back leg, and push my hip to the floor. If I'm feeling pretty good of a stretch here, I can just hold it here. If I'm not feeling too much of a stretch, the next progression is to bring the other foot forward. Notice how I'm flat on my foot, on my heel. My shin is on a slight forward angle. That's where you want to be. From here, again, I'm going to think about rib cage down, and then I'm going to push my hip in towards that floor, keeping that core really tensioned up, squeezing my butt on that back leg. For myself, I can really feel a good stretch here. This is probably where I would stay for a little while. If you guys still feel like you can take a little bit more on, you can grab a table or a chair or a med ball, and you can actually prop yourself up. Again, rib cage down, squeezing my butt, pushing my hip forward, and I'm just holding that position. Notice how my knee is still butted in the corner of that wall. I notice with a lot of our classes here, guys, the tendency is to kind of let that knee slide away from the wall as you go into that stretch. That will change the stretch a little bit. For today, I want to challenge you guys to make sure your knee is staying up against that wall. Play with the first progression, then the second, then the third as you see fit. 3 minutes per side. Don't be afraid to get a little bit uncomfortable here today.